news tonight.
Everybody with a piece of land engage in commercial agriculture.
President Museveni advises the youth to stop mourning over economic poverty and unemployment. Body of General Eli Tumwine, who died in Nairobi, Kenya, has been returned home as burial arrangements proceed.
So sometimes we even cough into our pockets.
Wakiso District local government leaders petition Leader of Opposition in Parliament over control of local revenues. A very good evening to you and welcome to CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. In our top story tonight, President Museveni has advised the youth to stop mourning over the economic hardships, poverty and unemployment. He says they should embrace commercial agriculture, which can easily make them get money. He was at Kawunda grounds in Gulu City to commemorate the belated International Youth Day. The details.
The youth of Uganda, can you clap better than that?
Worldwide, the International Youth Day is commemorated on the 12th of August to recognize the numerical strength of the young people and their potential to contribute towards socio-economic transformation. However, Uganda's celebrations were postponed to today. Museveni visited various exhibition stalls. After that, a moment of silence in honor of former Security Minister General Eli Tumwine, who died yesterday in Nairobi, Kenya, was held. Boniface Okot, the chairperson Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Youth Affairs, said there are numerous challenges that need to be addressed by the youth to use their potential and skills to transform society.
This will encourage economic empowerment, and also they request that State House scholarships also be availed for the underprivileged youth leaders present.
However, President said problems like hunger in the community is as a result of wet and degradation and the failure by farmers to embrace irrigation.
You have a small hill, then there is a wetland, then another hill like that. So it's very easy for us to irrigate our country. So the two go together. Massive irrigation in Uganda means swamp reclamation. Now I'm glad the UN people are here. So if you are looking for work to do, you come and support me, UN. Support my program of swamp reclamation.
Museveni, who launched the ICT infrastructure in Gulu, said ICT is an area that should be utilized by the youth to create income-generating activities. Jacob Eyeru, the chairperson of National Youth Council, asked Museveni to meet youth leaders on quarterly basis to find solutions to emerging problems that affect the youth.
I request Your Excellency, you are very generous. Meet them for half a day every quarter. We can work on whether you start regionally or you start nationally. In your capacity, Your Excellency, meet them every quarter. And this financial year has just started, so we can start with this first quarter. You meet one region, you go to the next one, you meet the next region.
Gender, Labor and Social Development Minister Betty Among challenged the youth to utilize the knowledge and skills they have to solve social, political and economic problems in the country.
So I would like to request the youth, when we talk about underemployment, unemployment, labor rights and all those challenges of the generations of the youth today, it is you, the youth, to think about the solution to your problems.
Recent research that was conducted by Tweweza, a civil society organization, shows that although young people are aware of different poverty alleviation problems like the parish development model, Emyoga, and youth livelihood programs, only 7% of the youth have embraced them.
Prime Minister Robina Nabanja has launched a 31 billion shilling pilot cash disaster program that is targeting people who live in areas that are prone to landslides in the Mount Elgon region. The program will benefit people in the districts of Manafwa, Bududa, Namisindwa, and Sironko. The fund will be implemented by Give Directly, a non-governmental organization that is collaborating with the government. Take a look.
The program was launched at Bushika Playground in Bududa. Nabanja demanded for transparency during the implementation of the program. She urged leaders to own it.
I will ask my team, the Prime Minister's monitoring team, the Prime Minister's delivery unit, let me request my fellow members of Parliament, you, the chairman of the districts, please own this program so that we have this issue settled once and for all.
Nabanja says that most disasters are as a result of human activity. She said the government will not allow people to die because of their carelessness and ignorance. She also says that trees will be planted in areas where people will be resettled to restore the ecosystem.
Government has already contracted NEC. NEC is a government company. It is owned by Army to do the construction of the industrial park and have the drainage fixed.
According to the State Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Esther Anyakun, the project that is funded by Give Directly intends to help landslide-affected households to invest in alternative livelihoods in the areas they are being located.
Above findings, cabinet decisions were made to start a long-term effort of securing lives and also property by resettling persons, households from the high-risk areas to safe regions within the country. With these decisions, the government procured land in Bulambuli sub-county, in Bulambuli district, where over 250 households of Mount Elgon sub-region are permanently being resettled.
Each household will receive an unconditional grant worth 7 million shillings that will be paid to the recipient's mobile money accounts. John Baptist Nambeshe, the Manjia County Member of Parliament, asked government to consider resettling people who live near national parks. The occurrence of landslides and flooding in the Elgon sub-region has drastically increased over recent years, posing a high risk to vulnerable people. Since it was launched in Uganda 2013, Give Directly has dealt with over 100,000 households via impactful poverty alleviation and humanitarian programs in selected districts. Hope Nyongereza, CTV, PM Edition.
Political leaders from several town councils in Wakiso district have petitioned the leader of opposition in parliament of a local revenue that they collect but is managed by the central government. The politicians say the arrangement that is enshrined in various local government laws has hindered development in areas where the money is collected. The details.
The petition was handed to the leader of opposition in parliament, Mathias Impuga. The local council leaders are demanding a revision of the Local Government Act to allow them collect and budget all that is locally collected. The team was led by the Wakiso District Woman Member of Parliament, Bet Naluima. The existing Local Government Act requires all local governments to deposit their revenue collections to the Consolidated Fund account. The managers of the Consolidated Fund then send allocations to various local governments like town councils and municipalities.
It's as if we are leaders of functions. Even when the road breaks up as an emergency and they have not yet released this money, there is no way you can do this. So sometimes we even cough into our pockets to handle this, and it is really shaming.
Despite the fact that local governments have adhered to the law, the leaders who petitioned Impuga say their budgets are not considered, which hampers development in their respective areas.
When you budget, for example, you expect road fund 250 millions. Amidst taking our local raised revenue, they also cut that. Instead of telling you the 250, they tell you we are going to send you 40. Now, they have withheld your local revenue. Even the transfer from the government has also been cut.
We want to be given full authority to spend that money. So the government will come and ask us, how has it been spent?
Impuga told the petitioners that some of the cases in the petition have already been handled by Parliament. He says that most of the issues in the petition are part of the opposition's legislative agenda that was unveiled last year.
We are alive to what the Public Finance Management Act says in as far as local governments are concerned, which is why my shadow minister in the last financial year moved a motion to reverse the directive of the Ministry of Finance that requires you to remit monies to the center. That motion was passed by Parliament, courtesy of her motion. The House unanimously adopted the motion.
He says local government leaders can now stand up to government for failing to adhere to the resolutions of Parliament regarding the matter.
I even encourage you to challenge the ministry legally if you so wish. But as House of Parliament will help to you and resolved that money should be retained to enable you work. Maybe you need to adopt some defiance mechanisms to awaken finance to actually realize that Parliament is not a ritualistic house, but a very serious House of Parliament.
Recently, Butambala Member of Parliament and Shadow Minister for Finance Mwanga Chivumbi laid on table documents that showed some Parliament resolutions have been violated by the executive. Ramson Mhire, CTV PM Edition.
Thank you, Ramson. General Eli Tumwine's body has been received. We bring this story and more after the break.
Sometimes in life, we spend all the time trying to live other people's life. And along the way, we lose who we are by copying what other people are doing in their relationship.
You see, from the last time I met your sister, I've not spent a day or a minute without thinking about her.
It's a good surprise on a Monday. This is nice.
So you and him are we're just friends. Wow. Come on.
Just friends. You either tell me where you're from or you go back to where you've been. Thinking it would work out for us, but yet to find out that's not who we are after experiencing a great disappointment.
She's in love with some other man, so classy, a gentleman, not bulldogs like you.
These are the mistakes girls do.
Now showing on CTV. Don't blink.
Welcome back to CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on sign language. Moving on. Relatives and friends have received the body of General Eli Tumwine at Entebbe Airport. Tumwine died of cancer-related illness yesterday at Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi, Kenya. Meanwhile, preparations for the burial of General Tumwine at his country home in Kazo district are progressing. The road from Kazo Trading Center to Remikoma is being rehabilitated by UNRA. Kazo County MP Don Kimoso is coordinating the preparations. However, the government is yet to release the burial program. Kimoso described General Tumwine as a selfless servant who was open about corruption in government institutions and departments. He said General Tumwine has been helping residents start cattle keeping projects. Kazo District Chairman Reverend Sam Katagunda said General Tumwine will be remembered as a freedom fighter. The Deputy Chancellor of Makerere University, Professor Umar Kakumba, has encouraged the public to work with the institution to find solutions to various problems affecting the country. He was speaking at the end of a 4-day International Humanities Conference at Makerere University. The details.
Professor Kakumba says initially the public regarded Makerere University as an isolated institution for only the elites, yet it can come up with solutions to some problems in society.
Messages to inform the leaders in our country, those who manage our country, but also those who have been given the duty and the responsibility of governing society, so that we address the needs of society. So there is a lot that is coming out of this conference. Of course, as a university, we shall gain a lot through the publications, the research outputs.
He says humanities are part of the society, therefore it's the university role as an institution through research to encourage the public to get involved at all levels for better development.
Because the humanities, they showcase the society, they bring out the reality in society. Humanities and social sciences are about the livelihood of the people. They are about the people, the day-to-day lives of the people, their well-being, their social needs, and how the governance and how the other stakeholders must play their roles.
Alex Mukulu, a seasoned playwright and song composer, says humanities should be used to create awareness among the people on how to improve their standards of living.
Without character, you cannot have a community. Today in Uganda, we are suffering from a lack of a national character. And it is us, performers, performing artists, to build this character.
And I didn't want to complicate life. I wanted to teach the basics because I realized with the basics, you can go far. We are all here because we have the basics. We can read, we can write.
Christy Makula, CTV PM Edition.
In the regional news, thousands of Sudan's Hausa people set up barricades and attacked government buildings in several cities on Monday, witnesses said, after a week of deadly tribal clashes in the country's south, while healing the wounds of the past is one of the objectives of the French president's 3-day visit to Algeria. Take a look.
Violence in Blue Nile State, bordering Ethiopia, has killed 60 people and wounded 163 others, including 13 in serious condition, according to health officials. The clashes first erupted a week ago on Monday between the Berti and Hausa tribes, after the Bertis rejected a Hausa request to create a civil authority to supervise access to land, a prominent Hausa member said, on condition of anonymity. But a senior member of the Bertis had said the tribe was responding to a violation of its lands by the Hausas. Troops were deployed in Blue Nile on Saturday, and since then, an uneasy calm has prevailed there, although tensions have escalated elsewhere. In the eastern city of Kassala, the government banned public gatherings after several thousand Hausa people set government buildings and shops on fire, according to eyewitness Hussein Saleh. In the city of Wad Madani, some 200 kilometers south of Khartoum, hundreds of Hausa people put up stone barricades and burned tires on the main bridge to block traffic, resident Adel Ahmed said. Experts say a military coup led by Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan in October 2021 has created a security vacuum that has fostered a resurgence in tribal violence. In a country where deadly clashes regularly erupt over land, livestock, access to water and grazing. The Hausas, also known as the Hausa, are one of the largest ethnic groups in Africa, with tens of millions of members living in several countries. There are 3 million Hausas in Sudan, where they largely follow the majority religion of Islam, but speak their own native language rather than Arabic. On the first day, Emmanuel Macron laid a wreath at the monument to the martyrs of independence. It has been 60 years since Algeria gained independence from France, and the last few months have been marked by tension between the two governments. Although Macron called the French colonization a crime against humanity, the excuses that Algiers expected for the colonization never came. He said the people of France did not choose the past, but they inherited it, and it's a block. He said they have to look at it and recognize it, since they have a responsibility to build the future for the present and future generation. With this trip, the French leader hopes to put back on track relations with the former colony at a time when Europe needs its gas reserves more than ever. Officially, Macron's trip, who has arrived with several ministers, is oriented towards youth and the future, words almost irreconcilable in this country in spite of the boom in fuel prices.
On the international scene, more than 33 million people have been affected by historic rains and floods that have swept Pakistan, the country's climate minister told journalists. And as Europe's energy costs skyrocket, Russia is banning off large amounts of natural gas, according to analysts.
Since June, more than 900 people have died in monsoon rains, and floods continue to break weather records. Pakistan's climate minister said the government was battling with a climate-induced humanitarian disaster of epic proportions. The cash-strapped nation has called for additional international aid. Climate Minister Sherry Rahman said the country was now going through its 8th monsoon cycle, while normally the country only has 3 to 4 cycles of rain. Since the summer season began, multiple monsoon cycles have lashed Pakistan, causing huge floods that have destroyed over 400,000 homes across the country. At least 184,000 people have been displaced and forced to evacuate to relief camps in this time. The UN's Disaster Relief Agency, Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, said in its own update on Thursday. It noted a lower figure of 3 million people who had been affected by the natural disaster so far. However, Pakistan's Minister for Planning and Development, Ahsan Iqbal, had earlier said that around 30 million people, or about 15% of the population, had been affected. They say the plant near the border with Finland is burning an estimated $10 million worth of gas every day. Experts say the gas would previously have been exported to Germany. Germany's ambassador to the UK says that Russia was burning the gas because they couldn't sell it elsewhere. Scientists are concerned about the large volumes of carbon dioxide and soot it is creating, which will exacerbate the melting of Arctic ice. The analysis by Rystad Energy indicates that around 434 million cubic meters of gas are being burnt by the flare every day. It is coming from a new liquefied natural gas plant at Portovaya, northwest of St. Petersburg. The first signs that something was wary came from Finnish citizens over the nearby border who spotted a large flame on the horizon earlier this summer. While burning off gas is common at processing plants, normally done for technical or safety reasons, the scale of this burn has confounded experts. Portovaya is located close to a compressor station at the start of the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, which carries gas under the sea to Germany. Supplies through the pipeline have been curtailed since mid-July, with the Russians blaming technical issues for the restriction. Germany says it was purely a political move following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But since June, researchers have noted a significant increase in heat emanating from the facility, thought to be from gas flaring, the burning of natural gas.
PM Edition returns shortly with more news from the world of sports.
CTV is now on StarTime. You can now catch all your favorite programs, our daily comprehensive news bulletins, and so much more on StarTime's channel number 248. Stay tuned for a world of endless possibilities. CTV. Don't blink.
Do you love me?
Very much.
I'll catch you one day. Pants down.
I want to spoil you. I want you to eat my money.
She believes I'm in love with her guy.
Nico? If I had to live everywhere I'm not loved, where would I end up?
The dirty guy hides in the hospital for 40 years, but at night, he walks the streets, commits crimes, and then he comes back and pretends to be for life again.
I will break you, Spooky. Do not answer any question about Roho kwa Roho. It's your brain!
Now showing on CTV. Don't blink.
You are still watching CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. In the world of sports, the Uganda Under-19 women's cricket team will play international cricket for the very first time next month. The team will take part in the inaugural Women's ICC World Cup T20 qualifiers in Botswana that start from September 1st to September 13th.
We are here at Entebbe preparing for the World Cup qualifiers, starting next week in Botswana. We'll be playing against countries like Namibia, Sierra Leone, Botswana, the hosts, and also Tanzania. This is the first ever Under-19 World Cup qualifier, and all the countries that I've just mentioned are all in the modes of playing in the World Cup. It will be the first ever Under-19 World Cup. So everyone is in top gears so that they qualify. It's only one slot. That's why you're seeing the intensity here. The girls are working out hard, and we hope for the best. This is our second week in camp, though we were here before when we reduced the squad from 27 to 18 players. So this camp has helped us in a way that the kids have bonded together. They have played together, they know each other, and you know cricket is a team game, so it requires team spirit. So we've worked on bowling, batting and fielding, which are the most key sections of this game of cricket.
And we've been working on our weaknesses, and everyone has been improving so well, so I guess everyone is ready for the tournament, and my team is worth it to qualify for the World Cup qualifiers.
We have come to the end of tonight's edition. Thank you for staying tuned in, and thank you for keeping it CTV. More interesting programs are lined up for you after this, so remember to keep it C. Have a lovely weekend and be blessed.